This is WGN-TV Chicago, Television 9.
On the beat, Sunday editions of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution report widespread criminal activity in the nation's coal fields. The paper claiming it's obtained a letter written by Alabama Governor Busby to U.S. Attorney General Griffin Bell, which says the criminal activity in the coal fields includes securities fraud, murder, extortion, tax evasion, mail fraud, domestic and foreign bribery, as well as kickbacks, political corruption, bankruptcy fraud, organized labor problems, loan sharking, and insurance fraud. And what else is there? The first of 51 funerals began on Saturday for the construction workers killed Thursday when a scaffolding collapsed at the St. Mary's, West Virginia construction site. Meanwhile, federal investigators collected samples of concrete on Saturday. The concrete will be analyzed. Initial results expected next week, as Jim Foy reports.
For the first time in 3 days, all was relatively quiet, considering what happened here at Willow Island. Dozens of investigators were busy throughout much of the day, sifting through the crumpled mass of debris that lay at the bottom of the uncompleted cooling tower. A crane was brought in to hoist officials to the rim of the structure, with hopes of gaining a clue as to what sent 51 workers to their death. That was inside the fence. On the outside, while the curious and the sightseekers viewed the destruction, members of the news media camped in front of a construction company office, hoping to hear some word as to how the investigation was going. Had a cause been found? But no one was talking.
A 15-year-old boy was arrested Saturday in connection with the shooting deaths of 2 teenage youngsters and the wounding of 2 others in the northwest suburban Norwich area, as Frank Rios reports.
Norwich Village Police say the shootings took place late Friday night here in a parking lot at Ridgewood High School where a dance was being held. The boy in custody got into an argument with 4 other boys. The suspect pulled out a gun and fired a shot into the air, but the other boys apparently didn't believe the gun was real. The 15-year-old then shot at the boys. Killed in the gunfire were Robert Paulish of 8292 West Strong and Michael Trooper of 8130 West Eastwood, both 16. Wounded and listed in good condition at Resurrection Hospital are Russell Peterson, 16, of 8307 West Foster Avenue, and Michael Gale, 15, of 8200 West Giddings. This is Frank Rios reporting from Norwich for News 9.
18-year-old Russell Corbeen has been arrested and charged with the fatal shooting of a 16-year-old boy and the wounding of another youth during a street gang dispute. 16-year-old Curtis Zalman was killed. The second youth is reported in good condition at Ravenswood Hospital.
How can you loan money so fast, Mr. Harris?
Mr. Johnston, we can do it because we loan only to homeowners, and because my brother and I can approve your loan up to $10,000 while other companies are still going through channels.
My husband and I certainly appreciate the Harris personal touch.
There's no Mr. Beneficial, there's no Mr. Household, but at Harris Loan, there is a Mr. Harris. Call 343-9800. Call now, 343-9800.
Open Air USA in Bentonville, one of the nation's largest dealers of motorhomes, vans, fifth wheels, travel trailers, truck campers, and fold-downs. Now features Yellowstone travel trailers. 32 years of manufacturing, excellence, and handcrafted quality. Yellowstone's Country Club and Camino series offer 25 exciting floor plans in sizes 18 to 35 feet. Now, spring sale price from $4,495. See and buy your Yellowstone at Open Air USA, 109 West Irving Park Road in Bentonville, Illinois.
The first installment of former President Nixon's memoirs are scheduled to be released on Sunday. In the memoirs syndicated by a subsidiary of the New York Times, Nixon admits he took part in the Watergate cover-up that led to his downfall, and he blames his fall from power on a series of misjudgments. and says that he viewed Watergate as a public relations problem. U.S. Senator Charles Percy was in Chicago Saturday, drumming up support for the embattled Deep Tunnel Reservoir project, and Frank Rios has the details.
U.S. Senator Charles Percy says that for more than 2 decades, the city of Chicago and its 52 suburban communities have suffered from probably the worst urban flooding known to any man or city in America. But despite this, Percy says the Carter administration chooses to drag its feet in approving the flood control phase 2 of Chicago's Deep Tunnel project.
If the Metropolitan Sanitary District wants to build a pollution control project, then the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, will help out. If the Metropolitan Sanitary District wants to build a flood control project, then the Corps of Engineers will provide assistance. But if the citizens of Cook County want to reduce pollution and eliminate flooding at the same time, there is no federal help available. The bureaucracy doesn't seem to have an agency that can solve more than one problem at a time.
Senator Percy estimates the cost of phase 2 of the Deep Tunnel project at $6 billion. He says he sincerely hopes that President Carter will see fit to reorder his priorities because the needs of our cities have been ignored for far too long. This is Frank Rios reporting for News 9.
4 out of 6 present or former Illinois legislators have denied that they used annual allowances for themselves that were intended for legislative purposes only. The Chicago Tribune and the Better Government Association have accused the men of using the money to fund re-election campaigns, local ward organizations, and testimonials to themselves. House Speaker William Redmond is one of those accused, as well as former Representative Walter McAvoy. McAvoy was found guilty of extortion this past week in an unrelated case. Supporters of the Equal Rights Amendment demonstrated in the Loop on Saturday. The rally of some 2,000 persons was marked by songs, speeches, cheering, and generally high spirits.
The Picasso at Daly Center may have looked a little puzzled, but all the people who marched to the plaza appeared to be sure of their mission. That is, to muster support for ratification of the 27th Amendment to the Constitution. In short, ERA. The deadline for state approval is 1 year away, and the oratories heating up again.
We're gonna win the ERA! We're gonna win the ERA! And we're gonna win it now! Thank you very much!
This is Larry Roderick reporting.
Boy, I thought I'd be the only pregnant woman on the beach.
Oh, really? Well, we wouldn't let a little thing like that stop us.
Do you come here a lot?
Mm-hmm. Just as often as we can.
Could I ask you a silly question? What diaper do you use?
That's not silly. Pampers.
Well, there are other brands.
I always use Pampers. I wouldn't use anything else.
You really like them that much?
I sure do. They really keep her comfortable.
What about when she wets?
Well, Pampers Stay Dry lining helps keep her dry. If you wet a Pampers with half the Stay Dry lining removed, wait a minute, then slip in a blotter, you'll see the lining keeps your baby's skin a lot drier. And that's what comfort's all about.
You know, I'm really glad I talked to you about Pampers.
Maybe I'll see you here next week.
And maybe not.
Ask any mother about Pampers dryness.
What's that noise?
The plant communicator.
The what?
The plant communicator. Listen. It's telling me this ivy's over-fertilized.
You're kidding.
No, listen. This bromeliad needs water.
It measures fertilizer and water?
Yep, both.
That's super.
The plant communicator. It's unique and it's fun. But it's not just for fun. It's for your plant's good health.
Available at these fine stores.
This is Easter Sunday for members of the Eastern Rite Catholic and Orthodox faiths. Saturday, the faithful prepared for their holiday. News 9's Larry Roderick has that report.
Saints Volodymyr and Olha Ukrainian Church on the west side. and a ceremony of great religious meaning, the blessing of the baskets. For Sunday is Easter to those faiths which follow the Julian calendar. And Easter for these people means a renewal of life, of faith, and of pride in creativity, like the intricately decorated eggs, Pasanki. Maria Brahma still makes them the way she and her ancestors did back in the old country, now behind the Iron Curtain. Easter meals are in those baskets.
These are the pride and joys of the whole thing.
This is the Pasanki they call, yeah. But this is the wooden car. You know, it's just the wooden.
Well, this is a Ukrainian tradition that has come down for hundreds of years.
Oh, hundreds of years, right.
Christ is risen. He has conquered death with his death. The song echoes across the church lot. Ukrainian Easter, rich in tradition, on the west side of Chicago. This is Larry Roderick reporting.
A strike by more than 1,500 Northwest Orient Airlines pilots has forced the cancellation of 89% of Northwest's flight schedule at O'Hare International Airport. An airline spokesman says Northwest has cut its 65 daily flights to and from O'Hare to 8 flights, all of them between Chicago and Minneapolis. The South Korean government has thanked the Soviet Union for the release on Saturday of the pilot and navigator of the South Korean jet forced to land in the Soviet Union earlier this month. The Soviets say both men have admitted they violated Russian airspace and ignored instructions to land. Remember the awesome sight of a plane riding in the sky? Well, on Saturday afternoon, Larry Roderick caught up with just such a plane and its female pilot.
40 years ago, this was a common sight, a biplane writing mile-long letters in the sky. The original 1929 Pepsi skywriter is in Chicago for a more down-to-earth promotion, however, the opening of the Coho fishing season. Now, being an honest reporter, I felt I had to get the real story on this plane and its pilot, 24-year-old Peggy Davies, the only female skywriter in America. I mean, after this, there was only one way to go, and that was up. Takeoff that would make Snoopy proud, we were up and over Lake Michigan, ready to do what this plane and its pilot does best, that is, right in the sky.
It's a feeling of freedom. You can just look around, the wind blowing in your face. It's just a tremendous feeling. I love it. I love flying the airplane. It's a lot of fun. It's like I said, to fly at takeoff and landings, you have no visibility whatsoever, and so every landing is an exciting part of flying this airplane.
Unfortunately, the old and true saying, what goes up must come down, applied all too well here. But riding in this open cockpit plane, looking back at all that skywriting paper, well, I was getting thirsty. This is Larry Roderick reporting.
Polk Brothers and Lee's Carpets team up for a carpet price breaker sale. Lee's has reduced their prices to Polk Brothers, and Polk Brothers passes these savings on to you. Save 16 to 33% on plushes, shags, and textures in hundreds of colors. Lee's best-selling carpets, all at price breaker savings. Imagine Chicagoland's favorite carpet, Lee's Carpet, at famous Polk Brothers price breaker savings. Hurry to Polk Brothers and save 16 to 33% today. Polk Brothers, all stores.
Wet your whistle. Lip Quencher. Wet your whistle with the wet, wonderful colors of Lip Quencher. There's no lipstick quite like Lip Quencher. Created by Chapstick, drenched with moisturizers, so your lips feel as good as they look. Lip Quencher. Wet your whistle.
A raid on a Chicago North Side apartment this weekend netted $2.5 million worth of drugs and the arrest of 2 men. Police say 38-year-old Mark Altman and 48-year-old Eugene Stacconi are charged with possession of drugs. Meanwhile, Colombian drug agents have seized and destroyed 574 tons of marijuana. described by United States officials as the largest drug raid in history. U.S. officials say the marijuana had a wholesale value of more than $200 million and represented 10% of the marijuana used in this country. Something fishy's going on here. After 35 years as the Food and Drug Administration's chief food sniffer, Albert Weber is retiring, and he's chosen a new nose to succeed him. Richard Boff explains.
Good fresh fish is a culinary joy, but how do you tell good from bad? The nose knows. This splendid schnoz belongs to Al Weber, who is retiring from the FDA after 35 years as the government's top-ranked smeller. Before he goes, he's training a successor in what to look for, a smell for.
There are times because of the challenge you enjoy doing the work, but most of the time because of the odors and the stink that you come across, you can't hardly enjoy it. If you have certain odors, your nose becomes desensitized and everything smells alike. In that case, sometimes you smell fish for 10 minutes and walk out of the room for 15 minutes to get your nose back in condition. It's not a coffee break, it's a nose break.
Here's a can of ordinary store-bought tuna fish. We can't tell it's bad, but Al can.
Now see, on tuna, we break it looking for honeycomb, which is a type of indice of decomposition. And after we get through cutting it, looking for that, we take it, break it, and smell it. Tom, what do you think of it?
That's decomposed now. It'll be a tough task to follow the master, but with the training and the experience that I'll be getting for the last 3 months with Al Weber, I believe that I'll be able to handle it.
Though the nose is preeminent, an expert also has to know how to use his eyes and sometimes his touch.
I like fish, and the thing is, smelling fish, I know what's good and what isn't. In fact, I'm going to have some nice fresh caught fish that Tom caught tonight for dinner.
What a job. As Al says, all anchovies stink, but some stink good and some stink bad. This is Richard Booth.
Some 225,000 Chinook salmon were released into Montrose Harbor on Saturday, compliments of Salmon Unlimited. 200,000 of the salmon are spring-run Chinook planted in Lake Michigan for the first time. Salmon Unlimited is a non-profit Lake Michigan sports fishing organization of more than 2,500 families. Now for a view of the entertainment world, here's columnist Aaron Gold with News 9's weekly feature, People in the News.
Friday night was a pretty exciting evening for celebrity watchers in Chicago. The world premiere of Robert Altman's A Wedding at the Carnegie and Cinema Theaters brought us Carol Burnett, Desi and Lucy Arnaz, Amy Stryker, Lillian Gish, Dina Merrill, Cliff Robertson, Vivica Lindfors, Howard Duff, Nina Van Pallant, Pat McCormick, Mr. Altman himself, and Lauren Hutton. This was the film that was shot here last summer. The streets in front of the theater were packed before and after both of the screenings. It kind of looked more like Hollywood than Chicago. The film doesn't open here until September, but Mr. Altman promised a benefit for the Rehabilitation Institute, and he decided to make good his word. At the party for some 800 contributors afterwards at the Drake, people were able to rub elbows with the stars and tell them that they liked their performances if they so chose to do. They all were extremely gracious. That is, except for Lauren Hutton. This glamorous model turned actress works real hard at being obnoxious. She apparently hates the fact that she's beautiful and does everything in her power to destroy her image. And that included being rude to women who asked about her lovely gown. She sat in a chair like a cowboy, swilling beer out of a bottle and stuffing steak tartare in her mouth with her fingers. As the pop phrase goes these days, not a pretty picture. Just to confirm the rumors that have been floating all over the country for the last several weeks, yes, John Travolta will star in the remake, well, not really a remake, but in Godfather 3. He'll play the grown-up son of Al Pacino and Diane Keaton. And NBC has already agreed to pay a reported $15 million for the first TV airing. Betty Ford has told the William Morris Agency that she hopes to be well enough by the middle of May to begin pre-production on her next TV special. One of the ideas is for Mrs. Ford to take the viewers on a tour of her beautiful new Palm Springs home. But if former President Ford is considering running again, well, maybe it's not such a smart idea to take the viewers, who also are voters, through such a lavish and expensive home. Anne Margaret's get Anne Margaret gets knocked and socked around in her next film, titled Magic, but only on the right side of her face. She insisted that no blows land on the left side because she's still jittery about the shattered jaw she suffered in the Las Vegas fall several years ago. Anne Margaret filmed this entire movie without makeup. And after seeing some of the footage, I predict that she just might possibly get another Academy Award nomination for her sensational performance. I'm Aaron Gold. That's this Saturday's People in the News.
Most delicious pecan pie I ever tasted.
Just like her coffee, Mrs. Olson. Really rich and delicious.
He never said that before I used Folgers. But you said it was different.
It's a special blend. Best I've ever tasted.
Say, what's mountain grown?
That's the richest, most aromatic kind of coffee.
Think I'll try peach cobbler next.
Yeah, but please stay with Folgers.
Mountain-grown Folgers. Delicious.
Call Lincoln at National 2-9000. National 2-9000. Call now. Yes, that was me, spokesman for Lincoln Carpeting Company, and I want to thank all of you thousands of viewers who have responded to our fantastic carpeting offer. Now, can't you just visualize this luxurious 100% nylon lush plush shag in your home? Not only is it beautiful, Lincoln makes it so affordable. Yes, you can carpet 3 rooms, 35 square yards, for just $139, excluding padding and installation. Incredible offer? Yes, but that's not all. You can buy it for less than $10 a month. Yes, enough carpeting for 3 rooms, $139. Pay less than $10 a month. Lincoln comes to you with large samples. Now, we want you to see it, to touch it. Choose from 12 luscious colors in your own home. An offer so outstanding, it's sold with Lincoln's written 100% money-back guarantee. So isn't it time that you call Lincoln? Now, what's that number again? Call Lincoln at National 2-9000. National 2-9000. Call now.
If knuckleball artist Phil Niekro could pitch against the Cubs every time out, he'd be a 40-game winner. Saturday night, Niekro shut out the Cubs on 6 hits in the Braves' 5-0 win in Atlanta. The Braves got all 5 runs off Woody Fryman in the 3rd inning, and their first run was a bargain.
There go the runners. There's a strike. Go to second. Ball goes into center field. That means Royster will score. Well, the Cubs are throwing that ball all around, every place but where they should. Here's the replay on it. Raiders throw. Wasn't that bad a throw, I don't think. I wonder if Manny was just too slow getting over there.
The Braves added 4 more before Mike Krukow came in to end the 3rd inning rally. Fryman is now 0-2. Niekro is 2-4. They wind up the series and the road trip Sunday. Our telecast begins at 1 p.m. At Comiskey Park, Lee May hit this solo home run off Ken Kravec in the 6th inning to break a 2-all tie. And the Baltimore Orioles added a couple of runs in that inning and beat the White Sox 5-2. The Sox had taken an early 2-0 lead, but Kravec, KO'd in the 6th inning, just couldn't hang on. The White Sox and the Orioles wind up that series and the Sox homestand with an afternoon game Sunday at Comiskey Park. Elsewhere, it was Kansas City over Milwaukee, and the Royals got some bad news in that game. 3rd baseman George Brett was hurt in the collision. He has a left shoulder separation and is expected to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. Minnesota beat Dick Tedrow and the Yankees 3-1 in a 5-hitter by Jeff Zahn. Texas over Boston 4-1. Detroit beat Seattle 5-0. That puts them 3 games ahead of Boston in first place in the American League East. Oakland beat Cleveland 5-1 behind unbeaten Pete Broberg, who is 3-0. And Nolan Ryan pitched a 2-hitter as California beat Toronto 5-0. It was Houston over Montreal 3-1. Pittsburgh beat San Francisco 6-2 in a 5-hitter by rookie Don Robinson. Philadelphia and Jim Lonborg defeated San Diego 7-2. St. Louis and Eric Rasmussen blanked Los Angeles 1-0 despite a 2-hitter by Bert Hooton. Cincinnati walloped the Mets 14-7, and what a field day Pete Rose had. Rose hit 3 home runs. This was his 2nd of the day. He had 5 hits all told, and he's now 4 short of the 3,000 mark for his illustrious major league career. And here comes the last of his 3 homers on Saturday afternoon. The Reds had 6 home runs altogether, collected 20 hits off 5 Mets pitchers. Other Cincinnati home runs by Ken Griffey, Dan Dreesen, and Cesar Geronimo. The victory moved Cincinnati only a half game behind first place Los Angeles in the National League West. Turning now to the National Hockey League playoffs, the New York Islanders lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1 in overtime in the 7th and the deciding game of that series. A crowd of 4,500 saw the Chicago Sting make its Wrigley Field debut Saturday, and what that crowd saw was a repeat of what's been happening to the Sting all season long. A 1-0 loss to the previously winless Minnesota Kicks. The Sting has yet to win in 6 regular season games, the same start the club had last season. Even worse, the Sting has scored only twice all year. The Sting plays New England a week from Sunday at Soldier Field. Gary Player shot a 69 and moved into a 5-way tie going into the final round of the New Orleans Open. Player is trying to become the first golfer in more than 25 years to win 4 consecutive tournaments. On the women's tour, defending champion Hollis Stacy shot a record 8 under par 65. She has the second round lead in the Lady Tara Classic in Atlanta. And teammates Sam Snead and partner Gardner Dickinson share the second round lead in the Legends of Golf tourney at Austin, Texas.
What did you use in the automatic drip coffee maker?
Folgers Flake coffee.
Delicious.
What do you use in your automatic drip coffee maker?
Folgers flaked coffee.
It tastes great.
Great coffee, Mrs. Olson.
Thanks. Nothing's better in these machines than Folgers Flaked Coffee. It's a coffee recommended by Mr. Coffee, the best-selling coffee maker.
Well, I love Folgers. But what's Folgers Flake coffee?
Flake coffee releases more of Folgers' rich flavor, so you use less and save money. If you normally use 5 measures per pot, you'll only need 4 of Folgers Flaked coffee. And Folgers is mountain grown, the richest, most aromatic kind of coffee.
Tastes rich. Ah, delicious. No wonder Mr. Coffee recommends Folgers.
Folgers Flaked Coffee. That's how really good coffee makers make really great coffee.
When prime ribs are roasted just right, you can practically taste them with your eyes. And with garden vegetables, simmered till they just turn tender, you can almost see how good they're going to taste. It's the same with Home Pride Butter Top Bread. It looks and tastes like real bread should, because we split the top, add butter, and let it bake right in. Home Pride Butter Top, white and wheat. You can practically taste it with your eyes.
Now Chicago's weather outlook for the rest of the night. It'll be partly cloudy and chilly with a low in the upper 30s. Sunday mostly sunny but windy and very cool. A high in the lower 50s and only in the 40s near the lake. Sunday night, fair, cold, lows in the mid or upper 30s with a chance of frost in the outlying areas. Monday, it'll be sunny but continued cool, high in the low or mid 50s. Winds will be northeasterly 10 to 15 miles an hour tonight and 15 to 25 mph Sunday. Right now, officially 41 degrees at Midway, that's 5 Celsius. 40 degrees at O'Hare, 41 degrees along Chicago's lakefront. The relative humidity, 55%. The wind is out of the north at 15 miles an hour. George Bauer will be here a little bit later with Newsbreak, and I'm Marty McNeely for WGN News 9. Thank you for watching. By the way, we hope you remember to turn your clocks ahead 1 hour. I think I got it right that time, because we officially lose an hour this Sunday morning. The correct Central Daylight Savings Time right now is 30 seconds past 3 o'clock. Motorists are warned to be extra careful during the first few days of the changeover because of early morning darkness. Drivers should reduce speeds, increase tailgating distances, and please keep an eye out for the youngsters. Good night.
America squeezes the Charmin. Across America, women are squeezing the Charmin and discovering it so squeezably soft it's irresistible, while one man seeks to find out.
What is Charmin's secret?
It's so big and fluffy, Mr. Whipple. Look.
I know Charmin's really big and really fluffy.
Right. When they see how big and fluffy Charmin is, they're going to want to squeeze it even more.
It's so squeezably soft, it's irresistible. What am I going to do?
I don't know, but you better think fast. Charmin's so big and fluffy. I can't resist.